Welcome to Layer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, let's discuss the new Def Leppard Record Store Day vinyl release, When the Walls Came Tumbling Down. This is a double album and a live recording from April 26, 1980 at the New Theatre in Oxford. This is right when Def Leppard had put out their On Through the Night album. And wow, was I surprised, pleasantly surprised when I listened to this. First, let me show you the nice packaging. For those who don't know, Record Store Day is something that happens twice a year where artists and labels will put out usually exclusive things on vinyl. And these are the record sleeves. And I'll be honest, I had no idea that this even existed. And for me, Def Leppard, I thought about making a video entitled Bands That I've Given Up On. And spoiler alert, Def Leppard would be one of those bands. I really have no clue what Def Leppard has been up to since basically Hysteria. I mean, I got off the boat. I kind of like Hysteria, but really after that, I just totally abandoned Def Leppard. Don't pay any attention to anything they do because I have no faith that they're going to put out anything that I'm even remotely interested in. So I was completely unaware that this live recording even existed. I don't think it's been put out on CD or anything before this. It's on the streaming services listed as 2019, so I guess that they did release it in some capacity. I was completely unaware of it. Came out at Record Store Day. A lot of my friends were raving about it. I usually don't do Record Store Day because it's just too crowded. It's too much of an event, a thing. But my friends were just raving about this, so I thought, all right, I've got to check this out. My friend Darren, who's been here at the Lair a bunch of times, he was able to hook me up with a copy, and I was just blown away. If your memory of Def Leppard, if when you think of Def Leppard, you think of the stuff Hysteria and later, it's easy to forget what an amazing, hard-rocking, hard-driving, new wave of British heavy metal band they were. And this album captures that perfectly. The recording quality is excellent. It's amazing that this early in their career that someone was smart enough to record them and record it so well like this. It is an amazing live recording that just really captures the energy of the band. All the instruments are in check. It sounds alive and raw, but not. You can still hear everything. It's super punchy. There's a lot of depth to the recording. It feels like you're in the concert hall there with them. And man, oh man, again, it's easy to forget that Def Leppard was such a great rocking band. Now, this is the original lineup with Pete Willis and Steve Clark on guitar, and they sound fantastic. The guitars are just left and right speaker. There's little fills that they do every now and then. There's the guitar tone is amazing. The solos are great. You've got Joe Elliott on vocals. He sounds incredible on this. You've got Rick Allen on drums and Rick Savage on bass. One of the big surprises for me, there were a lot of surprises listening to this, but like Rick Savage's bass playing is great, man. He's playing all these great hard driving lines and little fills. The guitars are just really, I won't say over the top, but there's just a lot of energy, little guitar fills here and there, really energetic solos. The drumming is great. And it's easy to forget this because by the time Pyromania rolled around, and I'm going to say it, that Mutt Lange sucked a lot of the energy out of the band. Now, he had worked with them on High and Dry, and I love On Through the Night and High and Dry. But there's something about Pyromania, and I kind of know what it is. It's funny, right before I got this album, I was listening to a podcast with an engineer that worked with them on the Pyromania album, and he talked about how they used a drum machine. And this is something I think I've talked about before, that it's basically a drum machine on the Pyromania record, and how they spent like a year and just meticulously put that together. And for me, when I hear this recording, it makes me realize how much of the energy of the band was sucked out of them with that Pyromania album. How uh, the drum machine and sort of the stiffness to those recordings. Now, let's face it, Pyromania went multiple times platinum, so what the heck do I know? clearly, clearly they did something right. It was a massive album for them. It was a massive hit. So many songs off that record were big hits, the MTV era, and it launched them into a whole new stratosphere. But oh, man, when I listen to this, I'm just like, wow, it's such a shame that they weren't able to sort of find a better balance. And I think High and Dry strikes that balance. So I don't know why they went so far with Pyromania into that really like the drum machine, and it just sounds like an album, a studio album, and some of the live energy of the band is just taken away. And then forget about Hysteria. Hysteria to me sounds like something that was, it's like a Tools album before Pro Tools and computers were used to make records. It was like they somehow figured out a way to make it sound like it was done on a computer. And again, what do I know? Those two albums were, sold millions and millions and millions of copies and mega hits from both Pyromania and Hysteria. But when you listen to this record, you hear what a great live, high energy band they were. And it's easy to forget that they at any point had anything to do with the new wave of British heavy metal. But you hear how they stood above a lot of their peers at the time, because not only did they have the energy and the playing and the rawness, they had the songs too. These are all great songs with great hooks. The musicianship is just fantastic. There's clearly a chemistry and energy here in the band that is coming through on these recordings and that they really had. Now, they play every song from the On Through the Night album is on here, which is super cool because, again, it's in a real just straightforward rock and form, which is pretty much like On Through the Night. It sounds like it's a straightforward record, but you get a little bit more live energy here. So you've got everything from On Through the Night. When the Walls Come Tumbling Down, It Could Be You, a personal favorite that I really like. Rock Brigade is awesome. Satellite, Answer to the Master is really cool. Sorrow is a Woman, It Don't Matter, Overture, Get Your Rocks Off, Hello America, and Wasted. I love those two songs. So it's just great. There aren't any ballads at this point. Everything is just hard driving, hard rocking. But what's really cool about this is you also get a couple songs that foreshadow High and Dry and even Pyromania. You have a song called Medicine Man, which would become Rock Rock Till You Drop from Pyromania. It's got the intro, it's got the main riff, it just has a different chorus and sort of melody line to it. I mean, I guess Rock Rock Till You Drop, yeah, it's a little more catchy, but this is still pretty cool in the form that it's on here. You have a song called When the Rain Falls, which is from High and Dry, and you have which turned into Let It Go, which was on the High and Dry album. You have Good Morning Freedom, which was the B-side to Hello America. You have Lady Strange, which would appear on their next record at this time, High and Dry. And you have Ride Into the Sun, which is from the Def Leppard EP. So I don't know if this is out on CD. I guess I should have researched that before I did this. But if you have a chance to pick up this vinyl, it sounds fantastic. And if you're sort of on the fence and you're like me, like you have bad memories of Def Leppard because of Hysteria and Slang and all the other stuff that they've done since then, trust me, revisit this. It's gonna remind you what a great hard driving British hard rock heavy metal band Def Leppard was. A fantastic live recording. It feels like you're in the room there and really capturing the band at a moment in time where they're just getting ready to start exploding. They're just starting to climb the ladder. So it's really an awesome live document, and fantastic that someone captured this. Plus you get this sort of little sneak peek of some songs that would appear on, the later Def Leppard albums and sort of this early incarnation here. So check it out. All right, let me know in the comments if anybody else has this recording. I've been hearing everybody raving about it. It's also on the streaming services, so you can check it out there and just hear it and just crank it up, man. And it's just, I can't help but think when I listen to this, what a shame that they didn't stay more with this sound. Yes, would they have blown up into the band that's doing a Las Vegas residency? I don't know, maybe not, but I still think they would have been a huge band and they still could have retained some of this more live, raw energy. It's such a shame that when I listened to this, that just kept going through my mind like, man, I wish that they could have captured and still had some of this. I wish it didn't get sucked out of them with Hysteria and Pyromania, because, oh man, they would have been metalheads and hard rockers. I think would have still embraced them. I mean, of course, Def Leppard still has their fan base, but a lot of people sort of abandoned them after Hysteria. And I think if they had just could have retained some of this and made it work with the more melodic radio elements, oh man, wow, where they could have gone, what they could have been. But who am I to say? They became very, very successful. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Check it out if you haven't heard it. Listen for it on this streaming services. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of early Def Leppard in this live recording. All right, let me know in the comments. And until we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal, and rock till you drop.